So this is, I want to introduce Derek Moore. So Derek, I've been personally working with Derek for over a year now. What I think is going to be awesome about this one is he and his partner, they did 58 deals, just him and one other salesperson. So I guess to kick things off, Derek, why don't you give us a little bit of a background about like kind of who you are, what you've accomplished, what you've done, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I got into solar in 2018, a company called Trinity Solar. I was a field marketer. I was doing door to door, setting appointments. Um, I had a friend, he actually works for Better Earth right now, conveniently enough, and he was doing solar and he was like, "Hey, I think you'd be good." And I was just kind of laughing off the job. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go knocking door to door, you know what I mean?" Before you know it, I'm in there interviewing. I get the job. I did really well right away. I think just I had a deep desire at the time to do well. Where I was at in life, like I needed to do well and I needed to do well quickly. Um, I say desire over motivation every day of the week, right? A lot of people like you can't get motivated every day, but you can have drive and desire for, a bigger picture. So I had a lot of that. I think I'm naturally pretty charismatic, which helps. And so between kind of the charisma and the drive to go out there and hustle on the doors, I knocked a lot of doors. I set a lot of appointments. I made what I thought was really good money. I think I made like 120 grand my first year. And I was just like, holy shit, like this is sweet, you know what I mean? And then I started getting into more of the sales side of solar, like running the appointments, and that was kind of fun. I left Trinity during COVID, and I went and I helped start an installation company for this general contractor who was doing roofing, siding, windows, doors, things like that. He wanted to integrate solar. I was lucky enough that one of my friends used to sell windows for him back in the day and introduced us, and we helped start his solar department. And that's when we started working with um, solar CEOs. Is we were just kind of like, we don't know what to do. Like, we know how to sell the product, but we do not know how to run the business. And so we kind of learned some of the ins and outs there. And then during COVID is when I got into the call center stuff. And I'm sure that's what you guys mostly want to hear about is how do we, effectively set 100 plus appointments, sometimes even 200 plus appointments with one guy in a month on the phones, right? And so during COVID, they were like, "Oh, you can't knock doors." And I bought a paid white page account and I went on white pages and I virtually door knocked. So I would find a territory that had some good houses. I'd click on the house. It would pull up their information. I would take out my phone and I would just dial them and I'd be like, "Hey, Martin. Hey, Martin, this is Derek. We spoke a while back about solar for the home. How are things? Good?" And people 8 out of 10 times would go, "Yeah, good." And I was just like, holy shit, like I've never met you in my life. You know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to get you guys a follow-up report, blah, 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 blah. And I was just setting appointments. I remember I'm sitting in the back of the garage of the office where we worked out of because it was always so noisy that I had to go work in the garage. We were small at the time. And I remember the owner walking in going, "What are you doing?" And I was like, my computer on a cardboard box, And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm cold calling. I'm just trying to get some appointments set up." And he's just like, "How many you got?" And I was like, "I got five." And he's like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Yeah, this works." I was like, "I'm setting more appointments than I was even knocking on doors." So because of that, like aha moment, we always implemented a calling presence with a door presence setting for the sales guys. Um, and that's kind of like how I got into the calling. And, we built call centers and we build call centers for other companies and we do cool stuff now. And we did 58 sales in March. 54 of the 58 sales he closed came from me, from my appointments on the phone. Four of them he just generated through referrals just because he closed so many damn deals. But in June, we're going to be going for 101 sales for Levon. I have one other person that's going to be dialing with me.
So is there like a particular dialer setup that you like that you use? Like kind of talk a little bit about like kind of the tech aspect of it, but then also we'll go into, maybe kind of some of the things that you say and stuff like that. I have a couple of ideas, but I want to start with that.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong dialer, right? There's different power dialers. We use Mojo Dialer. Um, I'm comfortable on it. I've used it a lot. It has a 3-line dialer. We have someone we met who really hooked us up and taught us all of the advanced settings to set up to kind of increase our contact rate. So we use Mojo. I've used Vici. I've used um, Call Tools. I've used like a few of them, honestly, and people use all kinds of them. They're all around the same price and they all roughly have the exact same features. It's really going to be, whatever somebody would be comfortable on using.
Okay, cool. And then are you basically buying homeowner data? Like, how are you getting the leads essentially?
Yeah. So we started by well, I told you guys how I started. I was starting on white pages, literally.
Right.
It was $200 a month, and it was the most archaic way to do this, but I didn't know any better at the time. We kind of progressed into buying every sort of aged solar lead or Facebook solar lead, or we tried all of the. I spent so many thousands of dollars on just shitty leads. So we did Facebook marketing, we did YouTube marketing, TikTok, age solar leads from just like age solar leads dot this and solar data dot this. And then we tried homeowner data, just like raw homeowner data. And through all of this, I ended up meeting a publisher, and this publisher has data for, insurance, extended warranties, home improvement, aged solar, all kinds of stuff. And so I have a direct access, luckily, to a publisher that has a really good source of solar leads. And he doesn't have like a company where he broadcasts it and sells it, which is really good. It allowed me to do that. So like we sell the data that we get from this publisher. And so I call on all data from him. I've tried to, like, you've introduced me to people that I've bought data from, and that was working pretty well too. So like this Clay, you introduced me to Clay, and he has some really good data. I called on some of that in March, and then we found some even better data. I'm just always hunting for new and improved data. I'm like constantly down to try calling different things.
So do you have a particular preference of data that you have found that you like better than other? And then
Yes, 6 to
hold
9
on,
month age
there's a
solar.
two-part
Sorry.
question. So have you found a data source which you found to be the best? And then how much of skill set impacts the quote unquote data that you get? Because I've worked with a lot of people that they get data and then they call the leads and they're like, it doesn't work, or it's this, or it's that, or whatever.
A lot of
And
skill set, yeah.
yeah, so I'm just curious, like talk about your favorite age data source, and then speak maybe on the point that I just brought up about skill set.
My favorite is 6 to 9 month old age solar lead. I think that it's long enough out from when they filled out the form that they've kind of forgotten about it, but it's soon enough where it's still maybe fresh enough in their brain where they're kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, I was kind of interested on solar for the home. I used to call for more money. I would buy these like 30 to 90 day leads, and I was like, oh, they're newer, they're going to be higher intent. They were worse. I actually had worse of a result because somebody just dropped the ball before me. Someone just screwed it up and talked to this person within the last 30 to 60 days and didn't do a good job. And I got like heavy resistance, like, no, we just looked into it. It doesn't make sense. Hang up. And I was like, oh, dang. I spent more money to get less interactions, essentially. Remind me what the first part of the question was.
Are
Am I
you closing these virtually? Yeah.
No, we are virtually setting for an in-person appointment. We do have one virtual closer, but I've turned him into a setter because we need more leads. So we have a kind of big sales team in the Massachusetts, Rhode Island area that just needs appointments. And so we have plenty of people that can just show up in person.
Okay. And what's the reason why you decided to do in person as opposed to virtual?
Because like me and one other guy are the only people that have really closed virtually, and we have a large sales force that is good, like really good in the home. And Massachusetts, the Northeast region, like you can get from New Hampshire to Mass to Connecticut to Rhode Island all in a pretty reasonable drive time. It doesn't kill you, so we can cover a lot of ground pretty easily. So when I target Mass and Rhode Island, and it's like not hard to get the sales team to the appointments. So it's just kind of what we have. It's just what my team is currently built for right now is in person.
Okay, cool. And I'm sure that that helps with the show rate, but I don't know because I've never done the way you're doing it. But I don't know if you could speak on that.
I've done a lot of virtual. So like I was doing Facebook ads, and then I was calling calling the leads that would fill out the ad, and then like setting up a discovery call and doing it all virtual. And I like had some success with that. It's definitely a lower close rate and a lower sit rate, but you can run way more appointments. So
Right.
like the whole theory, I think everybody tries to hack the system, and I think the theory behind it is right. If I'm all virtual, I could talk to 6, 7, maybe even 8 people a day. If I'm in person, I can only drive to maybe 3 appointments. That's true. But what people don't realize is it's great that you're available for 6 to 7 to 8 appointments a day, but how the hell are you going to get that many appointments with what you're currently doing? Unless maybe you have a ton of marketing dollars to spend and a huge calling force or a huge setting team, then it doesn't matter. Like you're not running 6 or 7 or 8 appointments anyways. You're running 2 or 3. So to me, it's like run them in person where they have a higher conversion rate. That's all.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Good. So I'm going to answer these next three, and then I have other questions that I want to go into here. So first one is, do you think that the "we spoke a while back" line would work if you're the one setting and closing? I would imagine after seeing your face, they would know you've never been seen. I think he's talking about when you first were
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. That's not my script anymore, really, but yeah, I do think it would still work. Honestly, I think it would. I don't think it's the best thing that you could say, but I do think if I just was like, "Hey, Martin," and role play with me quick, just to like give an example. "Hey, Martin."
Hello?
"Hey, Martin, this is Derek. Listen, I'll be quick. We spoke a while back about solar for your home over there in Bellingham. How are things? Good?"
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Good. Listen, like I said, I'll be quick. Did you get, and I'll just get into my pitch, like, and they're usually just gonna go with it.
Sure.
And how many people do you think they've probably talked to about solar at their doorstep or on the phone, or they probably won't remember if you went with that.
Yeah,
Um,
makes
I
sense.
I would just leave it out because I think less is more. I think just like, "Hey, Martin," I'll do it again. "Hey, Martin."
Hello?
"Hey, Martin, this is Derek. Listen, I'll be super quick. We were by your home. I just wanted you to know what was going on." And then
Uh,
again, I'm into my script, right? So like I can like not have to lie that way, you know?
sure, makes sense. Okay. So Bob asked, how are you dialing? Is it a predictive? I think it says or power dial or click to dial.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
power dialer. It's a 3-line power dialer, so it'll call 3 numbers at once, and then whoever connect answers first, it will connect me to. And then if 2 people answer at the same time, they'll get like this call hammer voice recording where it's like me going like, "Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hey, seems to be bad connection. Let me try you again." So that if, I don't lose them. Because
sure,
the reason that people get their numbers burnt is because the phone carriers will look for how many dropped calls you have, and then that's how they know that you're doing some sort of predictive dialing or power dialing, and that's how you can get the number to show up as scam likely. And if you want to totally bang your head against the wall and waste time, cold call people with scam likely showing up on their phone, and you'll have a great time talking to nobody. You know what I mean?
sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you on that specifically, is there like a metric or a way that you could suspect that potentially you're getting scam likely because of connection rate at a certain percentage, or how would you basically, how would you, help somebody understand, or how
Yeah.
could
If
you
your
here understand?
if your contact rate drops dramatically, like let's say you have like a 10% contact rate, and all of a sudden like that week you have like a 4% contact rate, that would be like a good indicator that maybe your phone's showing up as scam likely.
Okay,
Less people are answering. Some of the dial, I'm also, just so you guys know, I know a little bit about everything that goes on, but I am not our tech guy. I'm our sales trainer, like setting guy. Like I do like more of like the help people get better at. I'm a how-to sales trainer. Like I teach you guys what to say and how to say it. Where we have Matt and Andrew and guys who are like tech nerds, like dudes who run the back end and the settings and the operations and do this stuff for me. So I'm a little bit blessed there. But yeah, if you guys reached out to me, like I could connect you with somebody like on my team who could answer that better. I don't know exactly what Andrew does, but he'll just randomly hit me up and be like, "Hey, I'm swapping out your number." And I'm assuming he's doing it because he's like, "Hey, it's time to change the number," you know?
Sure. Okay, awesome. So what do you think the best setup is? And then for someone that, let's just take it from someone that's never started or never done it, and then people that maybe are more advanced in terms of like maybe an opener or to a setter, or just a setter to a closer. Like what would you recommend, and how would you basically give them that advice?
Yeah, so if I was okay, I would do it one of a few ways, right? I think the best way to set this up is to have a setter and a closer, right? So have one person setting the appointments for one other person, and I think you guys should be strategic in who does what. Like, I think there's a lot of ego around going from sales rep to setter in our industry. Even me, like when, I've installed like probably 400, maybe even close to 500 jobs since I've been in solar now. And now I have to just set appointments now I'm a call center agent, right? So I had to really humble myself a little bit and be like, okay, I'm going from being like a really one percenter closer to a call center rep. And I think that you and the closer, that like you and your counterpart need to just get real with each other and be like, all right, who's better in the home and who would be better on the phone? Like put your ego aside and just do the one that's better, right? And so I think the best way is one person calls all day and the other person closes all day. Now, if you don't have the luxury of having a setter and a closer available to do this combo, and you're just self-genning, I guess, and you just want to get off of the doors and maybe get onto the phones to get your leads, then I would do it one of two ways. Um, the first way would be Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday are hardcore dialing days where I'm going, 4 to 6 hours each day, generating as much business as I possibly can. And I'm setting all of the appointments for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Um, so that way the beginning of your week is front loaded where you're like, you're prospecting and finding business, and the end of the week you're running appointments. And then in between those appointments, if things go wrong or you get no showed or you have more time, then knock the neighborhoods that you're in and generate some business on the door. And that's a really effective way that one person alone could do 30, 40 deals in a month, right? You're calling for, I find that I can do about 100 dials per hour. So if I went and I did, and I can do 2 to 3 appointments per hour. Most people I find can do at least one. Anybody with basic solar knowledge can do one appointment per hour if they're just truly calling, right? So if you can get 3, 6, 9, if you can get like anywhere from like 7 to 10 appointments Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you can get half of those to sit for you on the weekend, and then you're knocking in between, there's no reason you can't run 10 appointments that week and maybe come home with 5 closes a week and really crush it, do 20 plus sales, right? Other option is every morning from maybe like 9, 10 a.m. till 12, 1 o'clock, you're on the phone and you're setting up your day and your next day and your week, and you're running your appointments from, 2 to 8 p.m. So either a setter and a closer, or front load the beginning of the week with appointments, run them in the end, or front load your mornings by calling and run them in the afternoons. I think those are the 3 only ways you could do it.
Okay, cool. And now I obviously see a lot of people are asking what your script is. So
Of course, I'll give you guys a tease, right? People pay a lot of money to learn this, right? So, but I'll give you guys it. I'm gonna give you guys most of it.
wait, but hold
I'm
on
gonna give
before
you
you do
guys the
that.
good
Hold
parts.
on before you do that. How much of it is the script, and then also how much of it is like, again, the person obviously using the script, and how would you take someone that maybe never did this before and get them up to the point where they were proficient?
Yeah. Okay. So, how much of it is the script? It's not necessarily the exact words of the script, it's the steps, it's the process. It's my 7 crucial things that I'm trying to accomplish on the call that I'm really good at doing. Um, it's just about telling the story. Like I sometimes people when they're training with me, they'll say, "You say it differently." Some like And I'm like, yeah, but listen, I'm saying it differently, but I'm delivering the same message step by step, right? You can say it a little bit differently each time. It's not necessarily the exact words that you say, it's how you're delivering them and how you're saying it. And even more so, how you make them feel, right? People always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I would argue that it's even, deeper. It's how you make the buyer feel when you say it. So the
Sure.
biggest thing I would say is like that makes me good is my skill set that comes in is I'm really good at doing a curious tone. I'm really good at being like I'll just have to role play it to show you guys probably. So
Sure.
like
But
beginning
hold on, but Derek, before you jump into this, here, like what I'm trying to paint the picture of too is like, so I don't know everyone on the call, and I don't know if they all have call centers. What I have seen, right, as an error is they'll either outsource call centers or they'll hire people and they'll have them like go wild on the phones. And these people have never really done this before. So they get their face kicked in over and over and over again. And the sales manager, the business owner is like, I don't know what to do. These people aren't good. This doesn't work. Da 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 da. So, could you talk about almost from a training perspective? You know, let's say you took me and I never actually did this before. What are the steps that you would walk me through to get me to the point of being proficient? And then how much time, that's always variable, would you say it should take to get a person that like is comfortable enough where you could have a conversation with somebody?
yeah.
Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm still learning this, guys. Like I'm coached every week by Martin. I have other coaches that I work with too that not aren't necessarily even solar coaches. Like I don't have the perfect secret yet. I'm on my way, hopefully, to doing it.
We're gonna
What
edit that out. Though. We're gonna edit that out. We can't be on this call.
No, really. I mean, like me and Martin, like we have amazing calls. Like every week is different. Um, and it's not like a bad different where it's like there's no organization, but it's like we go over what we need to go over, and a lot of it is you and I back and forth. Like last week, I think was a good one where we went back and forth, kind of role playing different ideas and thoughts. And so it's like, I don't know the perfect way to get someone up and good at this, or I would have a 50-person call center cranking 500 deals a month, right? So
Okay.
what I've learned recently that I do believe is the best way to do it, and that I haven't been doing recently is I think that it's better to let someone go for maybe 2 to 3 weeks and let them fail and let them learn and let them like bang their head up against the wall and see how hard they're willing to work. Like, see how much effort they're willing to put in, see what kind of natural abilities that they have to do the job. Like, let them go for a couple of weeks and be like, here's your basic script, here's your basic training, like, here's what you need to know. Here's like everything. But you don't need to know a lot to set appointments. Guys, an appointment is just like getting someone interested in learning about solar for their home. You don't need to have a bunch of solar knowledge. I know everything about solar, and I'm on the phone saying, I'm like the solar dummy, Martin. I just do the designs. Like, that's a good question. I'm going to put that in the notes. Like, I still do that, right?
Right.
So I think letting them go for a couple of weeks and just seeing what they're made of, seeing if they're not going to quit. I can't tell you how many people over the last 2 years that I have trained and dedicated time and effort and energy for weeks on end and been like, hell yeah, they're so trained up, they're so ready, and then they quit. And it's like, what did I do that for? So like
Right.
my advice would be, and I need to take my own advice, which I'm starting to do, is like see what they can do for a couple of weeks. And if they show up every day and they're willing to work hard and they can set an appointment here and there, like now you have someone that is worth investing some time into. And then basically to answer your question, well, then what I would do to kickstart them is what they need to know is they need to know I would have them memorize my pitch and the steps. I'd need them to work on their tone and their intuition. Like they have to, work on their voice, and I would like listen to them. I would go back and forth. Like we did this the other day. I have a new guy, Will. We went for 45 minutes where he went and I was like, stop again. Now listen to me. Okay, go. Okay, listen to me. Okay, go. And we pitched the same. It was just the intro. It was 45 minutes of the intro. And by the end of it, I was like, okay, he sounds fucking good. Pardon my French. I don't know.
Yeah. No, we'll keep that in. We won't edit that out.
Okay. Remember, I'm a masshole. I'm from Boston. I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts. So we talk a little rough.
Northeast, baby. Yeah,
Uh,
okay. Good.
But that's
Okay.
what I would do. I would literally go, the best thing you could do with a new person is be like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, pitch, pitch, pitch until you hear them and you're like, now you sound good. Because you might think you heard them a couple times or you pitched them a couple times, but you need them to pitch you like, and it doesn't take long. It was 45 minutes, but like now he has the whole intro down like butter. And every time he does it, I'm like, you sound amazing. Perfect. Now he can learn how to overcome objections. Now he can learn how to extend the conversation. Now he can learn a little bit more about solar and like, how to like button up the appointment and stuff. Like now it's worth teaching him that stuff. It's not worth teaching him that stuff if he can't even get more than 10 seconds through the phone call because he sounds bad in the beginning. Right?
Good. So can you clarify like what sounding good means?
Okay. Don't sound like you're reading a script.
Okay.
Don't just like tone of voice. Like I'll tell you what, don't sound like every other solar company's sales reps and door reps and phone reps sound like. Like, okay, ready? Not to make fun of anyone on the call who maybe does this, right? But I'm sure that a handful of you guys use this pitch because everybody does. Hey, how's it going, Martin? And I'm doing like a door pitch. And I can
Sure.
translate it from, hey, how's it going? My name's Derek. I work with a company called Boundless. I'm not sure if you saw our trucks in the area, but we've actually been doing some installations here for the state's newest program where you guys can actually go solar and lower the cost of power for nothing out of pocket. Like, have you guys gotten the report for the home yet? No, we're not interested. Bye. And they shut the door, hang up on you, right? So like, don't sound like you're this rookie just learning some script and you're just doing this like word vomit script at them. You need to, what sounds good is making it conversational and lowering your energy, believe it or not. Most people sound too salesy on the phone and they get hung up on because people are used to telemarketers going, hey, Martin, this is Derek with ABC Company. I'm just giving you a quick call to let you guys know about some really important updates to our new software development, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, yeah, I'm all set. Like, hang
Yeah.
up. So, like, on my intro, what I think sounds good is confusing the customer to almost not think that I'm in sales. Like, to where they're like, is this like and I don't lie and say I work for the utility, but almost make them believe where they're like, is this like a guy from the utility company calling me? Like, is this like a state ran questionnaire? Like, who is this guy? Like, what are you talking about? And so like my script is really low energy in the beginning where I'm like, hey, Martin.
Hello.
Hey, Martin. This is Derek. Listen, I'll be super quick. We were by your home. I just wanted you to know what was going on. It's pretty important. Or like, I just wanted you to know what's going on. Like something where they're almost like, okay, like who's this?
Yeah.
What's this? And I'll be like, yeah, this is about this. And then I'll get in. If everybody's lucky, I'll give them a little more. Let's do it. You want to roll? Want me to kind of
Yeah.
show you guys
Yeah,
the script?
let's do it. Let's give the people what they want there.
Give the people what they want, right?
They don't want to hear you talk. They just want to know what you say. That's the truth. So
Yeah. And I don't blame them, right? So I'm gonna give you guys a little extra. There's not too many people here. Don't be keep this to the chest, guys, because I honestly, this is $1 million script. I set 150 plus appointments calling for 4 hours a day. I mean, can you guys imagine if you guys could create a lifestyle where you need to spend 4 hours a day on the phones and you can book 150 appointments and make tens of thousands of dollars per month? Like, this is it because we're
this,
doing it.
yeah, and this is not like this is 100% true because I ask him for the numbers every single week. It's actually I've been asking for numbers for a year and he finally gave them to me. So he's not just saying 150 and 58 because it's like it sounds like it's good. Like it's literally what they did. So yeah, just a plug for that. Okay, let's do it.
You need to have a really good intro, right? So I'm going to show you guys what my intro is. And I already did, right? It's really brief. It needs to be 10 seconds long at the most. It needs to be captivating. It needs to pique curiosity. Then what we do is we introduce the Reds.
Let's do the intro again. That way they have it.
Hey, Martin.
Hello?
Hey, Martin, this is Derek. Listen, I'll be super quick. We were by your home yesterday. I just wanted you to know what was going on. And then I introduced the red zone, which is kind of part of the intro. Did you get the notice from the utility company about the red zone that they're putting into effect? What do you think? What do you guys think 99% of people say?
No.
No, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or no, what's that? What's the red zone? Who are you? Right?
Yeah.
Now I have them exactly where I want them. Why? Because they've said, no, what are you talking about? No, what is that? They've given me permission to now pitch the product,
Okay.
right? So many people just start with the pitch. The customer never allowed you or granted you permission to pitch them. They actually might now be annoyed. By building in a no here, what are you talking about? I've built in permission to say, oh, well, geez, I'm glad I caught you then, right? And now I can actually get into my step 3, which is the story, right? Which is what's a good, everybody knows stories sell, right? We're in show business. My friend Steve used to say, no show, no business, right? So you need to have a good story here that is going to get them to understand what it is. And the story needs to introduce a problem with a solution, as we all know in sales, right? Every good sales presentation has a problem and then a solution to the problem. So that's what my story is. My story is, excuse me, explaining what the red zone is, and then telling them the story about how solar was in the past and how it is now,
So
right?
can
That's
you briefly run through it just to give an idea?
it. Yep, exactly.
Sure.
All right, so I'm gonna run through really quick one more time.
Yep.
Have a good intro. We introduce the red zone, which I'll explain to you guys what that is. Um, we tell a good story, and then we get into qualifying questions. If you can just do these 4, you're good. This is the best thing I can teach you is these 4. Obviously, everybody knows how to transition and paint the picture of what the appointment's going to be like and close on the appointment time and date and then button up the appointment. You guys all know that, right? The
Yep.
best value you can get from me is I think steps 1 through 4. I don't think anyone's doing them the way that we're doing them here. And I think that's why we're setting a lot of appointments. So I'll role play with you and I might stop halfway through and explain what I'm talking about. So, hey, Martin.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, Martin, this is Derek. Listen, I'll be super quick. We were by your home. I just wanted you to know what was going on. Did you get the notice from the utility company about the red zone that they're putting into effect?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I caught you then. Yeah, so the utility company, they red zoned your area of the grid because it's over electrified. They're having a hard time getting enough power to all of the homes.
Hmm.
So they're doing a couple of things to combat this. They're going to be doing some infrastructure upgrades, transformers, lines, substations, things like that. But they've also added some new incentives to the renewable energy programs that they didn't previously have available. In the past, Martin, if you guys wanted to put solar on the home, you had to take out a big loan or write a big check and do it all yourself. Now it's completely different. If you guys meet their requirements, we could actually get the solar up on the roof. You don't pay anything at all out of your pocket besides just a cheaper electricity cost. But my apologies, I'm talking too much. To see if this could even make sense for you. Now I'm at step 4. I get into my qualifying questions. Would you guys say that you're spending at least $100 a month on the power bill over there?
Yeah, my bill's about $200.
Now this is testing 2 things. Compliancy. Do they follow instruction? Do they listen to me? Have I asserted myself as the professional and are they just going to do what I say going forward? Or are they going to start giving me objections? So they're either going to answer the question with, yeah, I spend like $100 a month. And if they say that, it's over. It's over. I'm setting the appointment 80% of the time probably because now I've captivated them. I've reeled them in to this qualifying question. Now I'm going to qualify them for the product and I'm going to set the appointment. And then they may come up with objections, which we'll work on how to overcome them.
Sure.
But or they'll say, yeah, I think we do, but what is this about? Is this solar? No, we're not interested. And then you're still good. The whole goal of my pitch is to get them to say, not interested, right? The best word track for the number 1 objection in all sales professions. And what's the number 1 objection? It's
We
not
talked
interested.
about it on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah,
So just to reiterate, guys, the number 1 objection you will get when cold calling is I am not interested. This, like, you start talking and they're going to say that. So if
yep,
any of
not
you,
interested, or we're all set, or no thanks, or that, and on the doors, right? I mean,
yeah,
we've all heard this. This is
good,
every objection is stemming from that objection. So
right.
if we can't overcome, if we don't have a word track to, and guys, first of all, is not interested or all set, is that an objection?
No.
No, that's a smoke screen.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I'll actually give. Let's backtrack. All set is a smoke screen. Not all set. That's just a smoke screen. They're trying to make you go away.
Yep.
Not interested could be an objection. They have had, if they're not interested, that means that they had to look into it to find out that they were not interested in it. But most people say not interested as a smoke screen, like, not interested. But you need to have a word track to find out, are they actually not interested? And if so, what are they not interested in? So first, I'm going to do the full pitch and then we'll do the word track for objections. So what I want you to do for me, Martin, for the sake of just getting through it so they can hear how it sounds, you don't need to be a lay down, but be like, let me set you. Okay.
Yeah, of course. No
So
problem.
they can hear it. So, hey, Martin.
Hello.
Hey, Martin, this is Derek. Listen, I'll be super quick. We were by your home yesterday. I just wanted you to know what was going on. Did you get the notice from the utility company about the red zone they're putting into effect over there?
No, when would I have gotten that?
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people aren't getting it, I guess. Well, I'm glad I caught you. What's happening is your area of the grid has been deemed over electrified. They're having a hard time getting enough power to all of the homes. And so they need to do some transformer upgrades and some infrastructure work to resustain the grid. On top of that, they also opened up some new incentives for renewable energy that weren't previously available. Not everybody can do it. In the past, if you wanted to do renewable energy, you had to like take out a big loan or write a big check and buy it all yourself. Now, if you meet the requirements, you don't pay anything. We get it all up on the roof. We lower the bill. You guys don't pay a penny at all out of your pocket. But my apologies, I'm talking a lot. To see if this could even benefit you guys, are you guys spending at least $100 a month on the power bill over there?
Yeah, my bill's like 250 every month.
Every month. Wow. Okay, yeah. So you definitely use enough electricity. That's good. What about the electric panel down in the basement? Is that at least 100 amp service?
Yeah, we have a 200 amp panel actually.
200?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That's actually what they're looking for. They're looking for people to be 200. That's great. What about the meter outside? Have you seen the utility company come and swap that out? Is it like the new digital one, or do you still got the disc that spins around in a circle?
No, they swapped it out a couple of years ago.
They
Yeah,
did.
some initiative. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, they switched it out.
Okay, yeah, we're specifically looking to, in order to qualify, we're looking for people that have gotten the new meter, so that's good. So now I want to pause. To qualify them, like maybe you missed what I did there, but whatever they say is what we're looking for. So let's now back it up and let's do the qualifying questions again, and let's pretend that maybe you don't have a new meter and you don't have on, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Got it.
hey, Martin, would you guys say you're spending at least around like $100 a month on the power bill over there?
Yeah, it's about $100. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's important that you guys are using enough power to qualify. What about the electric panel down in the basement? Do you know if that's 100 amp service, 200 amp service?
I'm actually not sure.
Don't worry, we'll end up looking at that for you. That's not a problem. And then what about the meter outside? Have you seen the utility company come and swap that out recently, or do you still have the one with like the disc that spins around in a circle?
I'm pretty sure it's the disc that spins around in a circle, but I'm
You
not
do
sure.
still have the disc.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you haven't been transferred over yet. That's good. We're actually looking for people who haven't been swapped over yet. So I'm glad to hear. Okay, well, Martin, it seems like you meet most of the requirements. I mean, I obviously called you because you guys get crushed with sun. I can't imagine that we couldn't generate some electricity there. My job's simple. I'm just the design guy. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on my list. I'll spend like 20, 30 minutes later on tonight, and I'll put together a design so you guys can see exactly where the solar will go, exactly how much power that it will make, and then right down to the penny what you guys would be able to save if we could qualify you. Again, if you guys qualify, you literally don't pay anything at all. And guys, by the way, I'm pitching PPAs if you didn't notice. That's what we're selling in our market. You could easily rescript this for a loan or whatever, right? But yeah. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for you. Are you usually more of a morning guy or more of an evening guy, Martin?
Uh, More of an evening guy, actually.
That's the close, by the way. That's step 6. We're closing. An assumptive option close. Are you usually morning guy or an evening guy? Usually more around in the mornings, usually around in the evening. You guys better to chat in the mornings, you guys better to chat in the evenings. I'm gauging again, is if he's compliant and just tells me evenings, well, again, I'm just gonna go for the close. I'm gonna go perfect. Oh, and I'm whatever they choose, morning or evening, is bad. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Whatever they say, I'm like, oof, yikes. So tell me, are you usually morning guy or evening guy?
Uh, yeah, usually I'm an evening guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As you can imagine, Martin, we got to meet with people. We got to meet with homeowners when they're not working, right? So evenings are usually the busiest times for us. Let me see what we can do. I mean, my specialist, I generally he's meeting with like, 8 or 10 families every day. Let me try to see what evenings. And I'm gonna now be super busy. I'm not sure if we can help you. I'm now gonna do a pullback. I'm gonna do a takeaway. Um, you do not want to be desperate sounding, it's salesy sounding where you're like, oh yeah, we can meet you whenever, wherever. Like that doesn't work. I'm constantly in the beginning, if you didn't notice, taking it away, like to see if you could even benefit, to see if you could even qualify. I'm not sure if you could even do it. You need to meet specifications. Oh, you do. I'm like, holy smokes, you didn't get the new meter yet? That's great. Like anything they're saying, I'm making them believe like, wow, you are rare. Like, holy smokes. And then when I'm transitioning to paint the picture and close, I'm also like, I'm pulling it away from them again. I'm taking the appointment away from them. Like my specialist is super busy. Like I'm gonna put you on my list, right? And then as I get to the bottom, as I have picked an appointment time and a date and I put it in there, that's when I'm gonna button it up. That's when I'm gonna make it stronger. That's when I'm gonna make them really understand this is a sit down that, we're gonna need to look at the meter, we're gonna need to look at the panel, we're gonna need to sit down, we're gonna plug in the bill, we're gonna go over the options. Like don't do that too fast. I think too many representatives will be like, I need to set good appointments. And they're like, will your wife be home? And it's like, you're now the guy's like, nah, I don't
Right.
even want this appointment anymore. Like, now what am I getting myself into? Like, be low key, be nonchalant. It's no big deal. And then get the appointment. Secure. There's 3 sales to be made. Getting the information, right? Like who they are and when they're available and what time, right? Closing on the appointment time and then closing the deal. So like step one is just like get them interested. Just like get them to be on board for learning about solar. Step two is sell them on the appointment time and date, right? And then really sure it up. So like don't too early and too fast do these things where they're like, oh, what did I just sign myself up for? They'll get buyer's remorse, they'll blow off the appointment. I had about a 50% sit rate in March, um, which I think is good. Like I think if you guys can have like a 40% sit rate, like that'll be good, you know?
Yeah, okay, love it. So 2 questions, and I know we have to wrap up here in a little bit. So number one is you touched on it a little bit about the button up, but how would you interject the concept of like, both all decision makers and stuff like that, or do you not even care?
So I'll have these additional questions that I like to ask you in a little bit. By the way, Martin, how do you guys heat the home?
How do I heat it?
Yeah.
Uh, we have a furnace.
Okay. All right. And so is that with gas or oil?
Uh, that's an oil.
Oh, okay. So you guys use oil. Okay, great. How many people are using power in the home?
Well, it's just me, my wife, and my one child.
Bang. They all do it. They all fall for it. I'll be like, so we know about the electric. How do you guys heat this place? Oh, gas. God. So how many people are using power here? And they'll usually be like, well, there's like 4 of us, and I'll either assume, oh, so like spouse and kids, or they'll say, well, me, my wife, 2 kids. And it's like, oh, great. And my follow-up question is, what's your wife think about this solar stuff?
Love that.
And then they'll usually be like, you learn. The guy will be like, she doesn't give a shit. I make the decisions. Or they'll be like, oh yeah, she hates it. Last guy came by, she kicked him out because I have set appointments for people and they've been like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I get to the end and I do that. Like, by the way, like, what's your wife think about the solar stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, she hates it. She'll absolutely not go for it. And I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I find out about the who else is around. And then I'll say, what does she think about this solar stuff? Or what does he think about this solar stuff? And then they'll tell me. And then I'll say, well, it sounds like they have an opinion on it. You know, and I'll kind of introduce the whole idea of like they're gonna be there, right? Okay, great.
Oh,
So that you guys are definitely both home. It sounds like we might as well talk to both of you. You know the game of telephone, Martin, where like I say something to you, you say something to her, and then it's completely different, and then she thinks I'm some, solar idiot. We don't want that. So yeah, let's do 6 o'clock then instead of 5, since you said, that'll give her more time to get home from work. Make sure that you guys also, how do you guys do the electricity bill? Do they mail it to you? Do you do it on the computer?
Sure. So hold on one second. So you're asking this in the button up, or you're asking this in the questions part?
In the button up, believe it or not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. My
Got
question is just 3 questions to keep it simple and keep it easy and keep it moving, right?
Yep.
Because what happens most of the time, guys, is you get to question 4 and then they kind of screw up your flow. And before you can truly paint the picture and try to set the appointment, you're starting to get all of the objections. And now you're in like your word tracks of handling objections, which to introduce not interested, Martin,
Yep.
I'm just gonna say solar, and you're gonna say not interested just for the sake of this role play. So
Yep.
solar.
Oh yeah, I'm not interested in solar.
Oh, so you did look into it.
Yeah, I did, but it's just not for me.
Okay, right? So step 1, it's a statement. It's not a question, it's a assumptive statement. So we're gonna do one statement and then 3 questions. Statement is, so you did look into it. Notice the tone of my voice when I said it. It's like, oh, it's like excited. Like, oh, so you did look into it. Because if he's not interested, well, then he's telling me that he's looked into it, right? How can you be not interested if you didn't look into it? So 99% of the people, even if they didn't look into it and they're just smoke screening me off the phone, they're going to go, yeah, we looked into it. We were all set, right? And then I'll say this is the key line. If I'm on the phone, I'll say before I hang up on you. If I'm on the door, I'll say, well, on my way out of here. Because we want to lower sales resistance before asking our questions, right? We want to make them think that it's about to come to an end. So, Martin, solar.
Yeah. Oh, solar. Yeah, I'm not interested.
Oh, so you did look into it.
Yeah, I did, but it's not for me right now.
Okay, yeah. And Martin, before I hang up on you, uh, how long ago was that? That's question 1. How long ago was that? Right? We want to know what their level of not interested in is. Well, ask them how long ago it was. If he goes, oh, it was 6 months ago. Well, I might need to believe him that he really did look into it. He very quickly and surely within the last year looked into it. 99% of the people, though, say what, Martin?
They say, oh yeah, I don't know. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, a while ago, or I don't know, last year, right? And I'm gonna say, well, geez, Martin, I've seen, and this is like a follow-up statement to question 1. So the question is, how long ago was it? The statement is, Martin, I've seen more changes over the last few months than I have over the last year. Do you happen to remember the name of the company? That's question 2, right? Do you happen to remember the name of the company? I'm asking this again, do I give a fuck? No. I just want to know, are they really not interested, or are they bullshitting me? And if he goes, I don't know, sun something, solar something, well, then it's a smoke screen. And what am I doing here? I need to uncover the real objection, right? But if he's like, yeah, it was Vision Solar. And he's like, yeah, 6 months ago, it was Vision Solar. They came by and got me a report. Well, I'm like, okay, well, he's not bullshitting me. This is real. This is a real objection. I need to now take this seriously, right? So again, we'll go from the beginning. Solar.
Yeah, I'm not interested in solar.
So Martin, you did look into it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did look into it. Yeah, we're not
Okay,
interested.
yeah. And before I hang up on you, Martin, how long ago was that?
It was about, I don't know, it was like a year ago or something. I don't remember.
Oh, geez, yeah. Well, Martin, I've seen more changes over the last few months than I have over the last year. Do you happen to remember the name of the company?
I think it was Vivint Solar, something like that.
Vivint, yeah, yeah, I know, yeah. I hear that they're a pretty decent company. I hear we do things a little bit differently though. Excited to end up telling you about it. Uh, Martin, how come you guys didn't put the panels up? What happened? Bang. That's question 3. How come you guys didn't put the panels up? What happened? Do not try to say it in any different way. It's perfect as it is. People always use the word why. Why didn't you do it? That is an accusatory, combative trigger word. It's been studied by people that the word why triggers an emotion of, you know, combat. So we just switch it to how come? Who on this call has kids, right? Raise your hand if you have kids. If Martin, if your son says, Why can't I go, Dad? What is the classic parent response?
Because I said so.
Because I said so, right? So same thing. Don't say, why did you not want to go solar, Mr. Customer? He's gonna be like, because I didn't want to. It's gonna naturally trigger that emotion. So we're gonna need to, the tone and the words are important on this. It's again, and hear how the word track flows so perfectly to how come you guys didn't put the panels up, what happened. They naturally, because it's so smooth and nonchalant and no pressure, they just say the objection. They go, well, I know the guy came by and he wanted me to take out a $60,000 loan. I told him to kick rocks. And it's like, bang. Now I have the objection. Now I actually know what I'm working with. And then there's techniques, right? Like mirroring and labeling and isolating the objection, qualifying questions, hypothetical questions. I could go all day on that stuff, but
Sure.
like you guys probably know that, right? So I'm gonna do it one more time just so you can hear the full word track. So Martin, solar for your home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not interested in this.
Oh, okay. So you did look into it.
Yeah, yeah, we did, but this is just not, we're just not, it's not something we're gonna do right now.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense. Martin, before I hang up on you, do you happen to remember how long ago that was?
It was like, I think it was like, I don't know, like last year, but like I said, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah, yeah. And before I let you go, do you happen to remember the name of the company?
It was Sun Power or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all we're all Sun something, right? But listen, I'm sure they were a decent company. We just do things a little bit differently. Martin, how come you guys didn't put the panels up? What happened?
Yeah, we blah 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 blah. Cool.
Then they give you the objection, or they don't, and it's just not a It's just never going to work. Like,
Sure. Love that.
it's not viable. But then you get the objection, and now you have something to work with, and that's where you can go really deep into this training.
Well, guys, again, thank you all for being here. Derek, again, appreciate you jumping on and giving this information, everybody. Yeah, and thanks again for jumping on, and we'll see you guys next week. Derek, appreciate it again, man.
For sure, fun hanging out with you guys.